Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Truth Disclosure 369 in the house once again. Hopefully, everyone is well. It's been like a few days since I've been on. Just hoping that everybody is in their right frame of mind and in a state of peace and positivity, despite the nonsense consistently swirling around in our environment. I greet everyone who may come across this video in the universal greeting words of peace. Well, since last time I got on here, we had all this other stuff. Of course, the decisions coming out of the Supreme Court. Everybody's in an uproar, and it's a hard button topic. It's one that I have issues with to a certain degree, and it's hard to really understand where both sides come from. But one of the things I do consider about the abortions, man, I mean, it gets to a point where you have to. My opinion is, I look at it like it should be looked at in a way, man. You taking out a living being, man. No matter how you look at it, you still doing it. When there are situations that come where you had circumstances that were messed up, which led to a birth of a child that that mother didn't was forced to have, or some negative circumstances, and then a lot of people point at rape and incest and stuff like that, and only in those situations, man. Even in those situations, I still, I mean, me personally, I mean, I understand where people come from on it, but me personally, I still think it's wrong. And I just have to, when a person do it because of them circumstances, I don't hold nothing against. I mean, my thing is those people that using abortion for means of just playing around, because I look at it like this: the abortion fight has been a fight that has legitimate, there's legitimacy behind it, but there's so many people use that legitimacy and take advantage of it for bullshit. It's like you have so many women just go out here and get knocked up, and then just because you have abortion on the table, then you go do it. So you can constantly play around with life. That's the part on abortion I don't like. And I think women who do that shit, like, or men who push their women to do that shit, they have serious issues, man. I mean, that's just where I stand on it. To each their own, all respect for those who make them decisions, but these are decisions that you have to live with. And I think that this whole thing, like I said, more distraction. The thing about it is, these folks will sit here and they will vehemently go in now about pro-abortion and anti-abortion, those that want to have the right to kill their seeds or children and stuff like that. What is the argument about with y'all? Because it makes no sense, man. The hypocrisy about this shit. And 1 minute, you don't want to kill babies, then next minute, same people supporting bombs dropping on people, supporting death penalty sentences, supporting policies and stuff, things that happen to bring some type of confusion or chaos or messed up circumstances to children that are born and living, and for those that who do all this crazy shit too, living children, just like this woman the other day. We've heard it before. It's not the first story that's been out here, but found a child in a freezer. Why? And it's like, I heard a person made a comment, and I agree with it. It's like a lot of people out here have children and they shouldn't have them, just with the way that they doing things, how the way they're parenting. Nowhere in the past when when I was coming up, under the mindset of my parents and those in that genre around my parents, nobody ever thought of, looked at shit like that far as on a means where this is something that has become a trend that people just go out and get pregnant, and because oh well, just go get an abortion. Yeah, that's not how shit supposed to be, man. It's like that's how I see how a lot of these folks want it, and these politicians, all these liars and these hypocrites that act like they so outraged about that shit, but yet they'll undermine their own citizens by sending money overseas to so they can drop bombs and all this weaponry on children. So where do you really stand at? Oh, get the fuck out of here! It's a whole bunch of hypocrisy, and it's opening up, to a point where now these motherfuckers gonna start acting like, oh yeah, we got people best interests. Now we got to go after them because of this abortion. And now, the Democrat Party feel like they got something to ride on now. But it's like all these motherfuckers, lying ass motherfuckers, it should be obvious now that even with this, no, man, you shouldn't, motherfuckers should be very careful with this shit. Motherfuckers gonna be talking all this shit like they gonna have everybody back. Yeah, we with you, people who want abortion. We're not with, and I just can't get it, man. I mean, the same people that's pushing this shit years ago, I seen some footage on Biden lying ass saying some shit that government should never be involved in abortions and all this shit. Man, it's something that government should, but now all of a sudden it's all good. And then the biggest shit about this is that my body, my right. I have the right to choose. I want the right to choose all this shit. But when it comes to other stuff, that automatically leaves the scene, like with the vaccinations and all this shit. I mean, how 1 minute is my body, my choice, but but for one thing, for another thing, it's no, can't do it, and then come up with a reason why because the pandemic and stuff was a health emergency. With all the lying and all the bullshit, yeah, it was an emergency. It seemed like there was an emergency that was placed on everybody by hidden forces. Like, goddamn, I mean, yeah, it was a health emergency, but a lot of it was pushed on by the same motherfuckers telling everybody they need to do this with their body. And it's like, come on, man, come on. So I just want to get on here and share some things, see what they got on here as far as what they're talking about. And I've seen this, a sucker punch. Some women fear setback to hard-won rights. And I mean, so it's like this. Why are we going backwards? But I have to say, how are we going backwards when you're given when you're not murdering unborn children to a degree that you're doing it for? Everybody's not doing it for the reasons that a lot of people claim that they're doing it for. These people are not getting abortions because they got molested. They're not getting abortions because they were raped. A lot of them are. I'm not saying that there aren't none that are using that, but everybody that's getting these abortions aren't a part of that criteria, man. It's almost like if you're gonna do, me personally, I'd rather see the child be adopted and be with a family that could love them and take care of them, and maybe that child could be the hidden hope that all of humanity could be waiting for, man. With all this shit happening, that's how I look at it. But how are we going backwards for saying save alive or stop playing games with this abortion stuff? you know, how are we going backwards? It looked like to me this shit was already backwards. What's backwards is the way these folks are lying to everybody. Then they use these grievances like abortion, uh, racial issues, um, gay rights, and all this. You know, to steal that shit, and they take that core grievance from that shit, and then all of a sudden there is that it's become politicized, and then it's shot all the way out there. Then you have those who take advantage of it and use it for their own means when they ain't really caring about the whole principles around it. Just like in the black community, I gotta say the same, because I hate that shit when I see it, and I try and call it out. I don't give a damn who don't like it or whatever. Like I said, I mean, there ain't no such thing as I'm following motherfuckers or I'm listening to motherfuckers just because of a black past, just because you black. If I don't agree with what shit you talking about or the motives and intentions of that shit, I'm gonna tell you, I don't fucking agree with that shit. I don't respect it. Just like you, a motherfucker had the same opportunity to do the same with me, and it's all respect. But just like in the black community, how black folks continue to talk all this shit about there being marginalized and this and that and the third and all this woe is me, and nobody wants to ever talk about none of the issues that black folks do in their own neighborhoods toward their own people. Like I've always stated this shit, like motherfuckers know there's always a larger threat to the whole population. But it seems like from whatever, if you're black, I'm gonna speak for myself coming up in the black community. Motherfucker knew who was a larger threat. Motherfucker always knew, yeah, them white folks, this, that, and third. But when you come down to it, everybody that hurts you physically or mentally, sometimes even spiritually, the majority of the time was always somebody that looked like me. I can't say nobody else who was. I can remember a couple of times where a motherfucker, person from another ethnic group, there was disagreements to a point where there was an actual conflict. That was one out of damn near 1,000 of conflicts just amongst your own, man. Like I said, I never people that put hands on me or tried me back in the day when I was young, when I was a kid that bullied and did this and did that, who I saw or oversaw observing doing negative shit, even when in my ignorance and in my state of sleep and not acknowledging everybody's humanity and stuff. The victims were like me. So what the fuck, man? Like, that shit there, you get tired of hearing it. You get tired of hearing it and get tired of fucking hearing it. But when it comes to shit, different grievances, man, these folks use this shit. They cause all this fucking commotion. Now you got all these folks out here, my body, my choice. But when you talk about the shots, where does that come in at? So it can't be like that. It can't be like that. And then you got shit like this off with their, they just going crazy. I mean, it's like, do y'all even care about these same kids that y'all talking about? These same children that y'all talking about? That we need to save their lives, from being aborted. But yet they come into a world, and then right now in the situation right now, they're starving to death, or they're facing difficulties due to the economy that was forced upon by different dumbass policies put out by these fake ass so-called leaders. And people seem to cheerlead that shit, even though it's fucking everything up. Don't make sense. Not everybody cheerleading that shit. A lot of people saying, fuck that, man. These folks wrong for it, but you won't get that coverage of it because the media don't want motherfuckers to think that people are at odds with what this government is doing. They only want you to think that people are at odds with what other countries and shit is doing, you know, and fuck that, man. You know, these folks sit up here talk this shit. Like, goddamn, how the fuck China and all this shit. Y'all motherfuckers borrowing money from China. And then motherfuckers got the nerve to sit up here and talk shit about China. Man, China got, and this is America. Why the fuck America buying money from these same motherfuckers that's so much of a threat? This communist regime doing all this shit to curtail democracy in their land, but every time you turn around, the United States borrowing money from them. What sense that make? And it's that same logic behind this shit, man. All this bullshit, they keep it going, man. They keep it going. To a point where you had fucking people in Congress, like this woman here, Senator Collins, and also Manchin from Virginia, who claimed that they were taken off guard because of they didn't think, they were misled by what one of the justices whom they agreed with as far as being confirmed. So now it's like, oh, we thought that it was we were told, we were misled. We thought they was going to be on specifically on keeping that ruling, which so what is this about? I mean, it makes no sense. So you mean to tell me the whole vote that the whole confirmation process for Justice Roberts and the conversation that these two senators had, I guess misled about the support, whether Roe v. Wade, support to keep it around. So what is it? So what is this? So what is this? Is stuff just supposed to, when it comes to rulings, Supreme Court rulings, people buy people's, I don't know. I mean, it just looks weird that these folks are mad because they felt like they were misled about that. So now they trying to do fire damage with, I guess, with their constituents. Because right here it said opponents targeted her votes to confirm 2 justices. So not only 1, but 2. And I guess they hung on whether to keep Roe versus Wade, but that to me it's not right. If you sit up here trying to coerce judges or whatever in the Supreme Court dealing with different rulings or whatever, I mean, that's some shit that they do. That's shit that's kind of, I mean, that's okay with any goddamn thing. You can just say, well, long as you keep this in here, I'll confirm you into that seat. And that's bullshit. That shouldn't even be registered anyway. But that's just show you how corrupt these motherfuckers are. She shouldn't even be in no damn position anyway, as old as she is. She's one of those dinosaurs that need to be out of here, like a lot of them. But to sit up and just you make confirmation, you do confirmation for Supreme Court justices based on will they continue to uphold court the brain fog for a minute, but to make these type of decisions for on confirmation of justices on what they're going to uphold down the line, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. To me, it is. So you got a lot of people getting at her about that shit, and also Manchin. But let's see what Judge Report. What else Judge Report got on here? See, they got a whole list of all this shit. Al Roberts lost control. Remember, you had 2 justices that were confirmed under the Trump administration. So those 2 were supposed to be the ones who were more lenient, that weren't more conservative on that topic. And I guess those people who felt like they thought they were going to ride with her and they did something opposite. Now, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then you got shit like this. Rep thanks Trump, victory for white life. Rep Miller thanks Trump. for Victory for White Life campaign says she misread remarks meant to say right to life. And you know, and people still using this clown as a standard of morality. I still don't get it. All these motherfuckers ain't shit. None of them ain't. Only thing these motherfuckers are doing are proving that this shit is corrupt. That's what he did. But to think that this motherfucker give a damn about black babies that's getting aborted, some white babies, and any this motherfucker don't give a fuck about no babies unless they in the circle of groups that he feel that he or people he around associate with that they can get something out of it. You can believe that. Right to life, right to life, right to life. Get the fuck out of here, man. So yeah, this is a heavy topic and it got people up in arms, but man, fuck that, man. This is one topic out of many, man. This corrupt ass government continuing to be caught up in. You know, with and now with the Ukraine shit constantly showing itself for what the fuck it really is. And I think I've seen something on that. You know, they still sending money over here. You know, they're still trying to get people to fall for the propaganda about what's going on over there. And it's kind of like a person said it is World War III already, because most of the people who are funding Ukraine, this is a world initiative. It's groups that's allied with Russia, and it's groups that are allied, starting with the United States, that are allied with Ukraine, and are sending money, that are sending weapons, that are sending intelligence, all that shit. So it technically, it really is already a world war going on. But man, this shit is so fucking crazy, man. It's so much stuff to talk about that you kind of lose track of and completely lose focus on a lot of shit, because a lot of it's the same thing, the same deal. Last week it was the Rainbow Pride. This week it was the week before last was Pride and all that, and this week is Roe versus Wade. Just more shit coming down the pipeline that they want to keep shit kind of covered up on certain things, especially when you're dealing with this. And I've talked on this in the past, and died out of the media for a minute. You barely get any coverage. A trial like this should have been on TV, but instead everybody had to deal with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Like, my bad, let me get out of here. Like, what the fuck? But you have here Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's main go-to person when dealing with underage girls, to be hooked up with these infamous people that they, for some reason, we still don't know who these names and all this stuff, except for that one guy over in England, Prince Andrew. And we saw how that story got completely it came out, went through his little cycle, and then got pushed under the rug after the settlement was reached. But you would think shit like this take first page. So now you got Ghislaine Maxwell is being placed on suicide watch. They may seek to delay her Tuesday sentencing for aiding Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse of underage girls. Prosecutors want her to spend at least 30 years in prison. But you would think this would get more coverage. And when you go into some of these subnotes, it says Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney said her client has been placed on suicide watch because we know Epstein supposedly created, killed himself with all the stuff that was going around, the shadiness and stuff that was going around at that jail and everything that was going on while he was there, even after his death, what led up to his death, the jail guards or the prison guards that were doing shit, they end up getting fired or some shit happened with them. It was some shit they did that wasn't right. And it's like a whole bunch of bullshit. A lot of I's ain't getting dotted, a lot of T's ain't getting crossed with Jeffrey Epstein's death, and which was supposedly by his own hand. And so here he is. We got another person, and there was actually somebody else who was linked to the Clintons, who was found hung with a shotgun blast to his chest. Supposedly he did that to himself. And but so now we got her being put on suicide walks. So what it says, Maxwell 60 is reportedly placed in a suicide smock to prevent her from fashion in news. Now you see they doing all this shit. Now let's see what transpired, because this is the key for this is the one of the links to open up all this other can of worms, which is festering in our government and other governments across this world, all these different corporations and all these motherfucking elites, all that shit, thinking they can do shit and they shit don't stink and they can do different things and not be held responsible or accountable for it. But yet the average Joe gets thrown up under the prison, get their face, get their character assassinated all on this bullshit media and all type of shit. While you got motherfuckers like that just getting away with all this corrupt ass shit. And she is one of these links that can help open up that shit. But they don't want that. So it's going to be interesting to see this. It's going to be interesting to see this shit. This is what we got from that trial. This trial should have been on TV more than any other motherfucking trial. Even that fucking bullshit January 6th shit. Hell, because I guarantee this motherfucker would some of them names get dropped with some of them stupid motherfuckers that's pushing that shit. But this is it, man. This is it. And you notice this article here on Drudge Report is like the very last. Even Drudge Report ain't even barely. But this is something that's very serious, man. And motherfuckers don't, this is the shit that all this other stuff keeps people distracted from. So yeah, man, this is crazy, man. Things are still barreling out of control. Far as with the economy, far as with all this bullshit with these pushing for this, pushing for that, while stepping over other people's own sovereignty and what they want for themselves, not what somebody else wants for them. And this is what it's coming down to. We're dealing with a society now who everybody wants people to wants to be pressed, wants to press others on their issues, on their wants, despite whether people don't agree with it. It's not a agree to disagree conversation. It's agree or the hell with you. You don't deserve to do this. You don't deserve to eat. You don't deserve to live. You don't deserve to shop. You don't deserve to do nothing. But accept what the fuck we gotta say, and that's just that there is creating a fucking void that motherfuckers don't understand. That shit is gonna bring a lot of shit to the surface. Because the more you keep nitpicking with people and trying to force ideologies on people who may have respect for those who want you to acknowledge their ideologies. I don't have no problem with acknowledging any ideology, and and that's just for me. My whole problem is when your ideology is when you're trying to press your ideology over mine. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you used to read about people who were Bible thumpers and all that. You know, the Jehovah Witness, when they go around, you're like, man, why y'all trying to force religion on me and all that? It's the same subject matter. It's the same subject matter. It's okay for you know, a person to dialogue and all that shit, but when you want to try and force a person to accept certain viewpoints and all that shit, it's totally not right. And the shit with the abortion, the shit with the pride, the transsexual shit. You know, if a motherfucker wanna agree, if a motherfucker want to agree that having transsexuals reading books for children and all this shit is, I think that shit is fucked up. That's not even an ideology that should even be tolerated, because children shouldn't even be exposed to any of that shit, whether it's with straight or gay people. Children shouldn't be subjugated to strippers, should be subjugated to transsexuals, none of that shit. Why? What the fuck for? Why? That is, back in the day, you used to get slapped in the face by your parents, by your mom, whatever. If you were trying to look at some shit that you know you damn well weren't supposed to look at. But at that time, parents were more standing on principles that were, you know, a little more you know, I guess godly, positive, a little more sensical instead of nonsensical. I mean, it's just, come on, it's just crazy, man. But all this shit is just pushing everybody to a point where it's going to be more inner conflict with everybody at each other's throat on these issues. And like I've said, this is exactly what these clowns want. And I just wanted to get on here for a little bit, just letting them know that I'm still around looking at this shit. And you know what? And I just stand on truth, stand on intuition, stand in the light of God, knowing that no matter what people say, man, if you believe in God, you believe in truth, you believe in those godly things that everybody claim they believe in, but yet when all this stuff happens in our environment, it seems like that battle is lost to Satan. However you want to look at it. You know, a lot of people have legitimized devilish shit and you know, but at the same time want to judge others, and that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. And I ain't even about to go into any scripture that Yahshua had already spoke on. I mean, goddamn, a lot of it is coming straight from Yahshua or Jesus. About a lot of this stuff, and it's like people gotta understand, man. You can't be spitting stuff to try and you know, criticize other people, especially in the religious aspect, and you know damn well your house ain't in order, especially with some of this shit that's going on that people seem to side with and agree with. Hell, I look at it like this. I mean, people got their choice, but man, you sitting up here agreeing with anything these liars talking about, man, get the fuck out of here. How can you even fix your mouth to say anything to somebody else dealing with in any type of criticism or judgment on anything, and or push any type of positive teachings and all this shit, and yet you sit up here and you roll right with the program with motherfuckers who straight up represent that satanic or devilish type of mentality. And it's like, nah, man, can't do it. Can't do it. So I just hope, man, you know, more shit just continue to enlighten those who are awakening and seeing this shit for the reality of what it is. You know, all across this planet, there's bullshit, there's wars, there's suffering, there's shit that this country is involved in that's not right. People are okay in that shit. they're okaying it, and you know, these elections. You know, now that it's time for midterms, all these folks running around, people opening up their holy places, allowing these folks to speak, and you know these folks representing bullshit. How do you do that? How do you do it? How do you do it? These folks sitting up here. I even saw this made me angry one day. I saw a black woman speaking on how everybody should not be alarmed by what's happening. We should not be complaining about what's happening. We should just get the fuck out of it. How the fuck do you tell somebody not to worry or not to be complain about what the fuck? Not only her, but the rest of them lying ass politicians, both sides of the aisle are doing. And this crazy motherfucker got the nerve to, and this is probably a lady that a lot of black folks think, oh yeah, she made it. She's a black queen and she's doing this. And yet she's pushing for shit that, and if it's put in a different wording toward and it's coming from another country, then that's automatically our enemy. People don't understand that shit. They're pushing shit that and they'll call communist other shit in other countries, and then stand against it. But different wording, and you say it over here, then oh, it's doing your duty for the get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't gonna lie. If that black woman had said that shit in front of me, it would have probably been. And I'm sad to have to say that, man. It would have probably took me all the strength that the Creator could bless me with, and my own being to keep from grabbing that woman and like, what the fuck did you just say? That people should not be, and whoever, and that's how a lot of these arrogant ass, fake ass leaders, these lying, hypocritical piece of shit politicians, they think they out of touch. They're only concerned with really their own circle. They, you know, maybe they family and they little circle of family or whatever. But other than that shit, they don't give a fuck. They can't give a fuck, because if they give a fuck, then that mean that whatever enrichment they have gained while they held these seats will be lost, because these motherfuckers have to go along, go according to these agendas. That's the only way you're gonna get your $1 million and all this shit and gain all your wealth while you holding these motherfucking seats up in Congress, doing nothing but acting like you really working for the people. Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, that woman said some crazy shit. When I'm on the other computer, I'm gonna pull that up. I can't put that video on this computer because it won't be no volume. There won't be no audio. So when I'm at the other computer, I will put that up, because that shit was ignorant. And I could just see so many black folks sitting around who still lost, can't think for themselves, thinking that other black folks got their best interests in heart, just following along, and it's not. And the good thing about it is, a lot of black people out here ain't going for that shit. I talk to them, I see them, and I know that I got faith in a lot of black people, that a lot of black people ain't as dumb as a lot of motherfuckers think we so-called are. You know, and it don't take a motherfucker to have a fucking doctorate degree and all this other shit. Just basically the common sense and the God-given ability to use wisdom and discernment and critical thinking that you were born into this creation with. To know that when something is totally off the mark, straight up right here. So, you know, I just wanted to share this, and you know, just gotta just be on the lookout of all this stuff that's continuing to transpire, and that the day will come where all this shit will be revealed for what it is. People can be able to move forward. Those that need to be held accountable will be held accountable, and then some, because that, like I said, and, you know, with all this stuff going on, it's still hard for me to accept that with all this going on, nobody still wants to bring up the fact that this lying ass dude, Dr. Fauci, fake Dr. Fauci, lied in front of Congress all these fucking times about something that fucked this whole planet up and murdered a lot of people in these hospitals and all this other shit. And Nobody wants to nobody wants to even touch that. All these folks out here still suffering from shit that nobody still has no clue what's really going on with that. And I'm gonna leave it right there. But with that, I like to leave off of here. Hopefully everyone stay well. Wishing you peace and blessings and much love. And I greet you in the greeting words as I came, in peace.